Thank you for watching our video on the Windsor Street Exchange concept designs. Before getting into the design concepts, I wanted to share an overview of the project timeline and objectives. In partnership with the Province of Nova Scotia and the Port of Halifax, HRM applied for funding to address a bottleneck located near a major port, the Fairview Cove Container Terminal. That bottleneck is the Windsor Street Exchange, and the project was awarded funding through the National Trade Corridors Fund in June 2019. Earlier this year, a contract was awarded to WSP to complete the functional plan and preliminary design for the project. We held the first phase of public engagement in the spring to hear how people use the Windsor Street Exchange and what improvements they would like to see. The feedback from that engagement, as well as data on the existing conditions, led to the development of two concept design options. In the second phase of public engagement, we are looking for feedback on the design options, which will be used in the evaluation of both options. We will also have an external technical review completed, which will provide recommendations to optimize the design options with consideration of the project goals, safety, cost, and constructability. A third phase of public engagement is expected to take place in spring 2022, and we'll share the outcomes of the design option evaluation, the results of the technical review, and how that informed the preliminary design. We will gather feedback on the preliminary design before moving forward into detailed design. The detailed design will be completed by 2023, and this involves the details of where infrastructure will be located and the development of construction drawings. Construction is expected to take 2 to 3 years, and we are planning to begin in 2024. Details on construction timelines and impacts will be shared after the design is completed. There are many things to consider in this project, and I will share a few key considerations. The Windsor Street Exchange is currently operating over capacity and is a critical intersection for trucks going to and from the Fairview Cove Container Terminal. The Windsor Street Exchange is one of only 5 roadway entries onto the Halifax Peninsula and doesn't serve all users effectively. As part of this project, there is an opportunity to improve vehicle movement, active transportation connections, and improve transit moving through the area. There are many stakeholders for the project, including the Province of Nova Scotia, the Port of Halifax, Halifax Harbour Bridges, public utilities, adjacent property owners, and the public who use the area. The project study is focused on the intersection of Bedford Highway, Windsor Street, and Lady Hammond Road, and the nearby approaches to the intersection. The objectives of the project include improving safety for all road users, improving the efficiency of the area for vehicle and goods movement, enhancing the experience and safety for people walking, rolling, and cycling, and improving the movement of transit through the area. 2 concept design options have been developed. For both options, I will provide an overview of the option, then details on how you would travel through for each travel mode. First, we'll begin with design option A. This concept makes use of 2 roundabout intersections and an overpass over Windsor Street between the Bedford Highway and the McKay Bridge approach. The proposed roundabouts in option A are similar in size to the roundabouts at Larry Utech Boulevard, making them smaller than the Armdale roundabout. This shows active transportation movements through option A. A new multi-use pathway will be added to accommodate people walking, rolling, and cycling, and is shown in a dashed blue line. Existing sidewalks are shown in solid pink, and those will be maintained, as well as we'll add some new sidewalks shown in dashed pink to connect to Bain Street and Africville Road. Active transportation connections will be made to the Bedford Highway, which is currently undergoing design work, and we're also looking at potential connections to existing bike lanes on Windsor Street, as well as a future connection from Macintosh Street to Africville Road. Transit has a number of routes that move through this area, including the Green Line for bus rapid transit. Option A improves travel time for both the morning and afternoon peak periods and creates direct routes for transit inbound and outbound in all directions. However, it does not include transit priority lanes, and it does not include signal priority or queue jumping. The next few slides will show how vehicles move through option A. Most vehicles traveling will only use the main roundabout, which replaces the existing intersection. And the vehicles that will use the roundabout on Bain Street are only those that are accessing Bain Street or Africville Road. When moving between Bedford Highway and Lady Hammond Road, Vehicles traveling on the Bedford Highway will move through the roundabout from A to B to C, accessing Lady Hammond Road. When traveling down Lady Hammond Road, vehicles will again move through the main roundabout in the opposite direction from D to E, traveling under the overpass at F and accessing the Bedford Highway at G. Between the Bedford Highway and Windsor Street, beginning at A on the Bedford Highway, you move towards the main roundabout, but you use the right turn channel to access Windsor Street, ending at B. When coming down Windsor Street, beginning at C, you enter the main roundabout, exiting through D, moving underneath the overpass at E, and exiting towards the Bedford Highway at F. Vehicles traveling from Bedford towards the McKay Bridge will use the overpass, bypassing the rest of traffic from points A to C. Vehicles traveling from Fairview will use the Joseph Howe Drive ramp and travel through the main roundabout at point B, using an on-ramp towards the McKay Bridge. Vehicles traveling from the McKay Bridge towards Bedford or Fairview will also use the overpass, bypassing the rest of traffic, traveling from point D to E. Vehicles leaving the Fairview Cove Container Terminal and heading towards the McKay Bridge will enter the single-lane roundabout from A to B, traveling underneath the overpass to enter the main roundabout at point C, and using the on-ramp towards the McKay Bridge at point D. When traveling from the McKay Bridge towards the Fairview Cove Container Terminal, they will exit using the ramp at point E and access the single-lane roundabout from point F to G, and finally towards the Fairview Cove Container Terminal at point H. Vehicles traveling from Windsor Street towards the McKay Bridge will move through the main roundabout from A to B, using an on-ramp to point C towards the McKay Bridge. When traveling from the McKay Bridge, vehicles will exit at point D to travel underneath the overpass at E and through the main roundabout at F towards Windsor Street at G. Vehicles traveling from Bedford or from the 102 via Joseph Howe Drive that are accessing the Fairview Cove Container Terminal will move from point A through the main roundabout at point B, exiting to move under the overpass and access the single-lane roundabout at point C, finally exiting towards the port at point D. Vehicles leaving the Fairview Cove Container Terminal will move from E to F through the single-lane roundabout and entering the Bedford Highway at point G, where they can move through the Bedford Highway or access Joseph Howe Drive. I will now share design option B and how you move through it using different modes of travel. This concept also uses an overpass over Windsor Street between the Bedford Highway and the McKay Bridge approach. 5 signalized intersections handle the remaining travel through the area. Active transportation connections through the area again include a multi-use pathway for those walking, rolling, or cycling, as shown with the dashed blue line. Existing sidewalk is shown in solid pink and will be maintained as part of the project. New sidewalk is shown as a dashed pink line will be extended down towards Bain Street and Africville Road. We will again be looking to connect to the Bedford Highway Active Transportation Network, as well as looking at a connection to the existing bike lanes on Windsor Street and a potential future connection from the end of McIntosh Street to Africville Road. This slide shows the transit movements for various routes through the area, including the proposed green line for the bus rapid transit. Option B reduces lane switching and weaving on the Bedford Highway in the inbound direction, and it could allow for future transit priority lanes to be added, as well as queue jumps or signal priorities. However, option B does not meet the morning and afternoon peak travel targets for all scenarios, and it doesn't reduce any lane switching or weaving required for outbound movements. The next few slides will show how vehicles would move through option B. One big change is that Bain Street and McIntosh Street will become major streets in the road network. Bain Street will be connected directly to exit from the McKay Bridge, increasing the volume of traffic that is coming through Bain Street. As well, Lady Hammond Road would be a one-way street between Windsor Street and Kempt Road, When traveling down Lady Hammond Road, you'd have to either turn onto the McKay Bridge or turn up Kent Road. When moving between the Bedford Highway and Lady Hammond Road, you move from option A to B through the signalized intersection at C, past Kemp Road at D, and travel up Lady Hammond Road. When traveling down Lady Hammond Road towards Bedford, you must turn right onto McIntosh Street and turn left at G at the signalized intersection at Bain and McIntosh Street, traveling down Bain Street to another signalized intersection at H, and then finally accessing the Bedford Highway at point J. Vehicles traveling from Bedford or from the 102 via Joseph Howe Drive towards the Fairview Cove Container Terminal would travel from point A and turn left at the signalized intersection at B, and then again turn left onto Bain Street at C, turning right onto Africville Road to access the port at point D. When leaving the Fairview Cove Container Terminal back towards Bedford or Fairview, vehicles would travel from E to F, turning right at a stop sign and accessing the Bedford Highway at point G. Vehicles traveling between the Bedford Highway and the McKay Bridge would again use the overpass separated from the rest of traffic, as we had in option A. Vehicles traveling from Joseph Howe Drive would access the on-ramp at A, traveling down towards the signalized intersection at B, traveling straight through with no left turn conflicts in front, and use the on-ramp up towards the McKay Bridge. Vehicles leaving the Fairview Cove Container Terminal and traveling towards the McKay Bridge would leave the port at point B, turning left at the stop sign at point B, turning right onto Windsor Street at point C, turning left at the signalized intersection at D, and using the on-ramp to access the McKay Bridge at point E. Vehicles leaving the McKay Bridge would use the new exit to Bain Street, approaching the signalized intersection at Bain and McIntosh at point G, traveling straight along Bain Street through another signalized intersection at H, turning right at point I, and finally ending up at the port at point J. Vehicles traveling from Bedford or Fairview towards Windsor Street would use the same movement that they do now, moving down towards the intersection and using a right turn channel to access Windsor Street from A to B. When coming from Windsor Street towards Bedford or Fairview, you travel straight through the signalized intersection at point D, turning left at the signalized intersection on Bain Street at point E, and then traveling straight through to access the Bedford Highway at point F. Vehicles traveling down Windsor Street that want to access the McKay Bridge would travel from point A to B through the signalized intersection, using the on-ramp towards the McKay Bridge approaches at point C. Vehicles traveling from the McKay Bridge that wish to access Windsor Street would use the new exit onto Bain Street, approaching the intersection of McIntosh and Bain Street at point E, traveling straight through the signalized intersection, turning left from Bain Street onto Windsor Street at F, and straight through the signalized intersection of Windsor Street and Bedford Highway at G, ultimately ending up at Windsor Street at point H. The project team is currently gathering feedback on these two design options, and we'd like to hear from you. Please visit the Shape Your City website to learn more about the project, fill out our online survey, or ask questions in the online forum. Visit shapeyourcityhalifax.ca/Windsor Street Exchange Project. Thank you.